And next up, we have a lecture titled Making Nations Self-Sufficient for the Greater Good. This lecture is by Engineer Raja Zayani. She's the Managing Director for Strategy Optimization Consultancy. Ms. Engineer Raja Zayani, I'm going to find you in a second. Here you are. Okay. Engineer Raja Zayani, the stage is yours.
Sorry. The camera.
Hi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm delighted to be in here with you today. Let me just share my screen. Hold on just a minute, bear with me. I'm not that good in technology.
Yes, to allow you. Click and share again. Host.
Muhammad, sorry, it says that the host disabled the participant.
Or presenting, sharing the screen.
Muhammad, cannot hear you.
Yes, just made you co-host. Now you can share whatever you want. Yes, you're here.
Okay. Okay, I think you are set.
Perfect.
Today, we're gonna talk about making nations self-sufficient for the greater good, as Muhammad has said. And of course, I will apply my strategy in here, which is mainly to assess the situation that we are in, both outward and inward in the GCC. We will adopt some potential opportunities. We will try to get the best practices on how to sustain our business post-crisis. So if we are talking about self-sufficiency and we take it outward, the world today, you feel that there is a shift in power from the autocracy to the ever striking for or the democracy, which we in the Middle East haven't obtained fully. But now it is changing to democracy and technocracy. Technocrats, when they come to power, they tend, by their nature of work, to focus on technologies, advancements in science. So we will witness a shift towards what is good for the planet's sustainability, which means green energy, health and well-being, and food security. If we just take some facts about the planet, the next decade will be the most important in human history because it is really suffering from the alarm of the climate change, as Hussam has said previously. The planets need to go to zero carbon emission by 2050 as per Paris Agreement. And this is, of course, less than 30 years from now. Businesses are more and more aware of their long-term growth, prosperity, and profitability. As a sustained way, we have to transit to a sustainable way of directing our business. No more there is a focus only on profitability, but it is actually profitability and sustainability. Even if we do things, which is efficiency, how to do things better and better, efficiency, there is still the possibility that we might miss the bigger picture of doing the right things. What we should focus on, in another word, the vision or the customer expectations. We can take an example of that. Nokia 2 decades ago, they were really excelling in their efficiency, but all of a sudden, Apple came into the picture, and because they were wide open on the customer's expectation, and they have came up with the iPhone, and they have surpassed Nokia and other competitors as well. So the world today is guided by visionary leaders, not anymore by doers. Doers were for the last century. Today, it is visionary leaders. If we talk about some of the gaps that we have inward in the GCC, we have gaps in health, in food security, in renewable energy, in education, and research and development, which is the backbone of everything. Without research and development, we won't be able to excel in any of these areas. Oil-based economy. We have been talking about diversifying our economy for the last 30 years. Have we? Have we achieved enough? I don't think so. Virtual working, I think the crisis has really alerted us against that, because that the crisis has come. Some of us were ready infrastructure wise and virtual working, and some of us were way behind. So all of these gaps were really trying to add a value to the economy to support the local content. I'm gonna concentrate here on my presentation on health, food, and sustainability. Inward in the GCC, as we said, the COVID-19 has affected all of us. The economies have suffered throughout the GCC. Collectively, we have dropped by 47% in GDP. Business families are concentrating on 5 sectors or more, which is good, but most of them are like in the traditional sectors. I am not saying that we should shift from the traditional sector, but I'm saying that we should assess really what we have and move on with whatever the current situation is implying on us. So we really need to innovate in these sectors, whether it is in the production, whether it is in the processes, whether it is in the value chain, and we need to bring in new sectors as well. The GCC solar energy, actually we have in our targets, 2030 targets, in Saudi Arabia plans to install a capacity of 1.2 megawatt renewable energy per 1,000 people. UAE in their 2030, 1.7 to 31 megawatt. Kuwait, 1.2 to 2.5. Qatar, capacity of zero point 0.7 to 1.8. Bahrain, 7% of national electricity capacity, and Oman, 30% of national electricity capacity. All of these are very ambitious targets. Are we there? Can we advance to these? With the pace that we are working through now, I don't see this. We really need to make it much faster. And here we have the restrictive policies, and in the right side, we have the sustainable development. Of course, the more the restrictive policies are, the less the development and or the actual opportunities and the development would be. So we can see, and here the red is the fossil fuel, the renewable is green, the electricity is blue, and nuclear is the yellow one. So we can see that the restrictive policies for the fossil fuel would go very high, because we don't want to use the fossil fuel as our main income. The electricity would be almost the same. The nuclear power, as per the nature of that sector, is very sensitive, so we really need to regulate to that. The renewable energy, the usual renewable energy, solar and what have you, is really the same position. So that would reflect on the developments, and we will see less and less emphasis on the fossil fuel. The electricity would go high, because everything we have now would work on electricity. You name it: smart cities, transportation, meaning the roads, and the railroads, meaning the transit trams, meaning the cars. We will see also development in the nuclear energy, as because it has been regulated well now. the renewable is the future of the day. You see of the years. You can see that it has increased in here. If we go to the health, and I'm gonna take the Global Health Index as an indicator. The Global Health Index is really measuring the preparedness capacity of the countries. It covers 195 countries. All of our GCC countries are in the middle. We are not on the top, though we have the wealth and we have the competency to be among the top. So, case A is ranked as 47 out of 195, Kuwait 59, and so on with all the countries in the Gulf. The index is really works with four main indicators. It is the preparedness for prevention, preparedness for the detection and reporting, rapid response, health system, compliance with international norms, and risk environment. So this is the indicators that we have.
Ms. Raja, I wanted to ask you a question right in the middle of this. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
This is a question from me personally. A couple of slides ago, you were talking about how we're going to shift from fossil fuels to electricity.
Yes.
What are we using to generate that electricity? Aren't we using fossil fuels?
Well, yes, we are now using the fossil fuel. We should start really to use fossil fuel that is without carbon emission, and they are working on this technology now to implement it. Also, we can incorporate renewable energy into the grid of electricity. So we will have electricity produced by the renewable energy. And renewable energy, the usual renewable energy, or the nuclear, it's all the renewable energies.
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
Welcome. So the food security, and I'm gonna here show all the countries in the Gulf and how they have really came down in the food security. I'm comparing between 2016 and 2020. So we all really came down, meaning our rank has become less. Sorry, yani, Kuwait is the best. It used to be ranked as 27. Now it is 33. It has come to a lesser rank. It is not doing anymore well enough like before. So all the countries in the Gulf has done the same thing, or actually went through the same lower ranking, but Kuwait is the best out of them. So this depends really on four main criteria: affordability, availability, quality and safety, and natural resources and resilience. This is all the 6 countries and how they are doing with each of these. Oman is the highest in affordability, really. Availability, the highest is Saudi. Quality and safety is 88.8 is the UAE, but overall, Kuwait is doing the best in this food security. Family business impact. Well, the largest GCC family really owned collectively can generate 100 billion on annual basis. This is huge. And this is 2015. And 2015, this study was done in 2015. Now we are producing even more. Some of the family business is really the backbone of the regional economies. The number of businesses is really 5 or more, but they are concentrating on traditional sectors, as I have explained. The real estate is topping the list. Family business have made unparalleled socio-economic contribution, and of course, everybody is acknowledging that. Do that family business has a network? Yes, there's an international network for the business families. It has been established in 1989. How is it measured? Well, it is actually measuring the impact of the family business on the SDGs and alignment to the SDGs. And it can also compare or benchmark the family business to other family businesses all over the world. So this is the Polaris, and it can do that. The SDGs are 17, and it has been with us for, I think, 7 years. Some of the countries has done well in alignment with these SDGs, some relatively low, so it really varies. If we take health and the sustainability and the SDGs, health is really contributing to the third goal in the SDG directly, but it is also indirectly contributing to all the rest of them. Investment in GCC in health, the total estimated investment or opportunities for investment is 1.9 all over the GCC. And here you have the breakdown for each of the countries. There will be some other additional slides, but I hide them because anybody wants more details. I have my contact at the end of the presentation, and you can reach me on that contact, and I would provide you with all the details. I will take Bahrain as an
Ms. Raja,
example.
I'm just going to ask you a quick question. If we can go back to the past slide, that's 1.9 billion or 1.9 trillion?
Sorry, trillion. Sorry.
Trillion,
Thank you,
right?
Muhammad. Yes, thank you, Muhammad.
Okay.
Investment opportunities in the health sector for Bahrain as an example. These are, well, I'm comparing between 2018 orange and 2020 blue. Look at these figures. We are importing all of these. Do we really need to import 40.4 for medical solution? What is medical solution? Medical solution is saline. It's not rocket science. It is salt and water, but in a controlled environment. We can produce that in here. And of course, we keep our wealth for our nations. So there are so many other opportunities as well. The mask during the epidemic has went 19 folds. We can produce that masks very easily in here. I remember during the peak of the pandemic, the mask bucket was like reaching 7 or 8 BD, and sometimes you cannot find it. It was 0.5 before the pandemic. So we can really save ourselves lots of trouble by having these things in our home, in our region, so that we won't need to import them from other nations. Energy is really, as we said, contributing to the three sectors, three goals and SDGs, but it is also contributing to the others. For the GCC, we are not only blessed with gas and oil as available fuel in the region, but we are also blessed with being in the global sun belt, meaning that we have an abundance, a really huge amount of solar irradiance that we can use to produce energy, as we have said before. It is estimated that 60% of the surface area in the GCC is good for PV, the solar PV deployment. Even if we have developed 1% of that area, we can create lots and lots of gigawatts. Achieving and the existing renewable energy can save us, we will save the fossil fuel, and we can sell that fossil fuel to others. We can really generate, because of that selling, 55 to 87 billion, of course, depending on the gas and oil prices. That is in US dollars. So in addition to that, we can also reduce the emission. We can reduce the contamination. We can reduce the global warming. So if we do that, we can really reduce the emission by 1 gigaton of CO2 by 2030, and potentially resulting in 8% reduction in per capita carbon footprint in the GCC by 2030. We will have a fresher air, a better environment, a better health for us and for our children. For the food security, of course, food security is really contributing to all the goals in the GDS. focus on agro business. Well, I know that we don't have a good soil for agriculture in the GCC, but with the technological advancements in the world, we can really revert to some technologies that would foster our transition to a sustainable, efficient, and inclusive smart agro-food system. We can do that, and I will illustrate that in a minute. But before that, maybe promising investment opportunities in Bahrain as an example again for the Gulf in agriculture and fisheries. I will show you how we suffered. Fish farming. And back in 97, we used to export 9 million. In 2007, we were exporting 7 million. In 2017, we are importing 8 million. What have we done to our environment? Are we protecting it? This is the question now. And now in 2020, this figure is around 12,000. 12, sorry. Fruit and vegetation. Fruit and vegetation. We were importing 79 in 97, 95 in 2017, 294 in 2017, and now it is around 400. The agribusiness model that I have talked about, it is a social and economic sustainable initiative to ensure food security with the use of greenhouse infrastructure and technical sustainability. It is basically analyzing the local needs and priorities, identifying the ideal setting to build the greenhouse. We employ technology, infrastructure, and the production design. And of course, we have to control all of that. We have to train our staff or our people or our localities in both technicalities as well as management. We can produce nice packaging for that, depending on where we are going to send it to, and then the logistics for the final goods.
Ms. Raja Zayani, if you
Sorry,
please, we are almost running out of time. We have like 3 to 4 minutes left. If you can give us, you can start wrapping up.
Yeah,
if it's possible. Thank you very much.
Okay, I will go immediately now to the sustaining. So the pandemic has hit us and it has exposed our structural weakness. Some countries has really excelled, like Korea, and the best thing that they have done is really their collaboration. They have collaborated all together, society, private sector, as well as the government. Sustaining the economy will be through diversifying, through risk calculated strategy, through digitizing our core businesses, through localizing the opportunities, through PPP, private projects, especially for the energy sector. And of course, we have to go visionary, not anymore focusing on how to do things, but really on what to do. Leaders need to focus on a unified vision and agile strategy. Concluding remarks: manage risk and foster resilience, assess, innovate, adapt as per the emerging risk and opportunities, co-create together, unify GCC efforts, remove barriers. We are a small nation. We all together, we are less than the size of one state in America. So we really need to remove these barriers. Embrace sustainability for the business, for the nation, for the region, and for the whole world, in our strive for a quality of life. And this is what we are after. I wish for everybody a higher quality of life. Thank you for joining me in this presentation. And as I said, my final slide is really my contact. So you can have it in there and you can reach me for either the supporting slides for the information that I have presented or any support in any businesses or in any services. Thank you so much. Wishing you a very successful
Thank you.
event.
Thank you, Ms. Raja. Thank you.